Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I know I meant to post a Batman v Superman video already and there's a lot of work to do on that. Might not get posted, who knows, let me know in the comments if y'all want to see it. But that's besides the point. Today I'm going to be explaining Zoom. Yes, Zoom from The Flash. And I've had plenty of theories to try to explain Zoom, I mean aside from the ones that are canon to the comics. And it turns out that one of my least plausible ideas, it turns out to be pretty possible now. And that's what I would like to discuss. So, I'll see you all in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so now let's talk about Zoom. So, we saw a couple of episodes ago that Jay Garrick ended up being Zoom, or someone that looks a lot like Jay Garrick. Now, is it actually Jay? Who knows? We do know that there's Hunter Zolomon out there who looks exactly like Jay. So who could he be the one that is actually running around wearing the Zoom costume, and could he be the original Jay Garrick, or the original person who eventually split off into Jay Garrick? So let me explain. So as we saw from last week's episode, by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen up to episode 15. So in the latest episode of The Flash, we saw that Eliza, which is the female speedster known as Trajectory, she becomes hooked on Velocity 9, which is something very similar from what we heard from Jay Garrick from previous episodes as well. He mentions that he invented the velocity formula so that he could become faster and faster and faster, and probably just like Eliza, he ended up becoming dependent on it, maybe even so much addicted to it, which led him down to this path. So, as we see with Eliza, she starts manifesting a alternate personality, someone who isn't like her, someone who's probably the exact opposite. From what we gather from Caitlin's conversation with Joe and everybody else, it seems like she was actually a very kind person, someone that who would go out and help out people, would work for the science. But after taking the Velocity 9, it seemed like maybe some kind of darkness was starting to grow in her. That whole alternate personality that caused her to go chase more thrills, so to speak, try to steal from people, try to kill people to some degree. So if that could happen to someone using the Velocity 9 formula, well, why not Velocity 1 through 8, right? So then that leads us to Jay Garrick. So we don't know anything about Jay Garrick now that if we take everything into consideration, other than the fact that he comes from Earth 2, and that he was a speedster in Earth 2. He claims to be the Flash of Earth 2, and yet he doesn't seem to be as heroic, or doesn't seem to be as an outstanding hero like our Flash, or Earth 1 Flash. It's not like we have a Flash on the real world, right? That'd be cool though. But still. So then that leads to more and more questions, right? Who is the real Jay Garrick? Could the real Jay Garrick actually be the man in the Iron Mask, as opposed to what I said in my last video, which you should go check it out. The link will be at the end of this video. And if that's the case, that means that there's going to be like 3 J's in this fucking show. And as one of my friends would put it, it's a Jayception scenario. So then, what is it that's going to happen? So, let me try to explain how Zoom and the Jay Garrick that we know came to be. So maybe at one point, when Jay Garrick was already reaching like the breaking point of his addiction with velocity, the velocity formula, he ends up going so fast that his atoms literally split into 2, thus causing the cellular degeneration. Cellular degeneration from in Jay Garrick's body, which is why he can't really sustain himself. He's dying out because he's losing himself because he lost half of himself. So because of that, we also have Zoom, or a possible Hunter Zolomon, who is dealing with the same scenario, but he kept the majority of the Speed Force, and therefore he's able to do more than the Jay that we know. But then how does that explain the guy in the Iron Mask? Well, that guy in the Iron Mask could end up being the Jay Garrick from Earth 1, as opposed to Henry Allen, as I had thought before. And if it does turn out to be a Jay Garrick from Earth 1, could it mean that he too is a Flash? Just someone that we haven't seen. Maybe he is another hero who just hasn't had his opportunity to shine. This leaves a lot of possibilities, really. But ultimately, the explanation for Zoom is that Jay Garrick took the Velocity 9, probably took so much of it that eventually it caused his split personality to develop its own physical manifestation, leaving us to where we are now. It could be that Jay Garrick lost all his courage, all his, I guess, better qualities when he became two different people, thus creating the Jay Garrick, the cowardly Jay Garrick that we kind of came to know. Let me know what you all think. I know that this theory, this idea, is pretty out there, but it's also, in my consideration, it's pretty on the nose as well, just because I've taken almost every other possibility into account. Do you agree with this? Do you have your own ideas as how Jay Garrick and Zoom could possibly be explained? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Let's try to reach a record goal of 5 likes for this video. And yeah, share this with your friends if you think it's pretty accurate as far as how Zoom came to be. I'll catch you all next time. See y'all later. Bye.